Command Center. This one's very special because we are remote. We are in Madrid out here with some great guys. I'm your host, Brian Cober Jr. Here with London Fletcher, Sean Springs, Tana Boss, and Logan Paulson. Brian Mitchell will be pulling up with us soon. And Fred is missing. We do miss our brother Fred, especially London.
No, we don't. I don't.
London, I'm glad you're here, brother, because some big news came about. Dan Quinn will be taking over defensive play calling, man. How do you see that affecting this game that we play, Miami Dolphins?
You know, first of all, you kind of feel bad for, well, not kind of. I feel bad for Joe Witt because he was handcuffed with all the different injuries that he had to deal with on this on this defensive side of the ball. But DQ, he's a veteran play caller. He's part of the reason that he's a head coach now is because of his prowess as a defensive play caller. It's a different voice. And things about play callers, it's a matter of when you decide to call certain things. And I'm interested to see how the flow of the game comes from him in terms of when he dials up pressure, coverages, and all the different things. So just it'll be a different feel, different voice, and hopefully it pays dividends.
And Sean, as a defensive player, knowing that a change like that is coming, you got a pretty good heads up as a player. What is your mindset like knowing that Dan Quinn's going to be calling the defensive plays?
Well, at the end of the day, everyone has a lot of respect for DQ and what he's done in the past and respect him as a head coach. Most importantly, as a player, though, no matter who calls the plays, if it's Coach Witt coming from the booth to the sideline or Coach Quinn out there, you got to execute.
Yeah.
And right now, those guys know that they have to, as a man, be honest with themselves and how they've been performing over the last few weeks, and they just got to go out and get it done regardless if DQ is the coach. I think it does, to London's point, it gives us a big boost because the head coach and he's an experienced play caller, but they still have to execute as an individual.
And Tana, me, you, and Logan will be on the sideline. Me and you will be pre-game. Logan will be on the sideline during the game. We have the Miami Dolphins. We've had a rough stretch of games. Miami Dolphins is coming off of a major, major win. How can we shake off some of these tough losses we've had?
I mean, they're riding hot right now. They feel like they're going to, take this on and have one of those big runs. But I think, man, personally, I just feel like, man, each and every week you want to go out there and compete and put last week behind you. I'm looking forward to this team putting that behind them, with everything that's going on with the, the defensive coordinator and all that. I'm hoping that this gives them something, a different kind of energy, knowing that DQ is going to be the guy. No one wants to let their head coach down. So hopefully those guys have that, mindset part of the game.
Yeah, Logan, you're going to be on that sideline, and we got to mention Marcus Mariota. He will be starting again. We've seen him start a number of times, and we've seen this offense run pretty well with him. What do you expect to see from Marcus Mariota?
Yeah, I think more of the same from Marcus. He's done a great job keeping the offense on schedule, being in rhythm with his reads, and facilitating this offense at a really high level. So I expect that, and if he does that, we got a shot to win the football game.
Yeah. Let's take a look at our opponents, the Miami Dolphins, before we go any further. Now, the Dolphins are entering this matchup fresh off of a Week 10 upset over the Buffalo Bills. Miami's defense forced 2 fumbles versus Buffalo, including one from safety Minkah Fitzpatrick, while quarterback Tua put up 173 passing yards, including 2 touchdowns, while also throwing 2 interceptions. Miami's offense put up 370 yards against Buffalo, with 174 rushing yards from running back Devon Achane. Containing Achane will be a huge part of the game plan. Let's take a closer look at the season Achane has had so far. It's time for Top 5, presented by UA Local 5 Plumbers, protecting the health of the nation's capital since 1890. Now, Achane sits amongst the top 5 rushers in the NFL. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor leads with over 1,100 rushing yards this season, while Achane is 4th in rushing yards with 780 on the season. He is averaging just over 5.5 yards per carry with 5 rushing touchdowns in 2025. For more on how to slow down this Dolphins running game, we have the Booth Review crew standing by out at practice. They'll have the best seat in the house this Sunday from the radio booth. It's time for your best seat in the house, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Take it away, fellas.
All right, thank you, Brian. We're here to talk about trying to stop the Dolphins' run game, and we'll get into it in a moment. But I think it really starts with, how does this team defensively get better to stop the Dolphins' run game, and what do you think?
Well, first and foremost, Dan Quinn's going to be calling the defense, so I think they feel like with DQ calling the defense, it'll hopefully lead to some better results. And I feel bad for Joe Witt Jr. Let me start off with that, because it's hard when you're been handicapped by the personnel issues and injuries and all those types of things. But from a standpoint of stopping the Dolphins' run, you got to get some disruptive plays from your defensive line. It starts up front. You got to be more physical than the Dolphins' offensive line. Got to come downhill as linebackers, take those double teams off. But we have to be disruptive, playing the backfield of the Dolphins if we're going to stop the Dolphins' running game.
Yeah, and I agree with everything Fletch said there. Hopefully Dan Quinn adds a little bit of spark. I think the thing for me is, like, how is your eye discipline in this game, right? I think when you look at this Dolphins run game, the one thing that they're excellent at is presenting different fronts, using speed motions, using different personnel to kind of challenge your fits. And so one of the things we've seen on film, Fletch, is they've had a hard time consistently fitting runs versus motion versus change of strength motion specifically. And the Dolphins do an absolute ton of that. So what are our rules? Can we get that aligned? And to me, that starts today. It starts in practice today, and we got to make sure that we're on the same page and getting that stuff communicated.
And you mentioned the full speed motions. Being out here, I know they talked about having a lot more walkthroughs, but can we have maybe practice might be a little bit longer because you're dealing with a complex type of run game. They have a variety of different types of runs, whether it's counters, it's outside zone, it's inside zone, it's traps, it's pin and pulls, it's all types of different runs that you have to be exact on when it comes to stopping this run game. Because if one guy's not where he's supposed to be, you got A-Chain and he can take 80 yards on you.
Let's talk about Achane for a minute here. Coming off a game where he had 100 and something yards, 175 yards rushing. They just came off a game where they faced one of the fastest, most powerful running backs in the NFL, Jahmyr Gibbs. They're getting a speed demon here in Achane too. What is the key as you look at him in trying to limit him on Sunday?
Again, making sure you're disciplining your gaps. That's everybody being in their gaps when they're supposed to be there. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to do somebody else's job. Trusting your teammates. I think a lot of times when you're struggling making plays or struggling on a particular side of the ball, guys start to press and try to do too much. But I have to be able to trust that Logan is going to be where he needs to be and trust that I'm going to do my job. Trust your technique, trust the call. And then we got to tackle this guy because he makes a lot of people miss if he breaks a lot of tackles.
Yeah, I agree. He's much more powerful than people think. And I think that's the thing. I agree with everything Fletch said. That's 100% right in the run game. In the pass game, we got to know our responsibilities, right? We got to find good matchups because he is dynamic catching the football. They ran a ton of screens last week. They like to get him on choice routes. To me, he's kind of butting into this role of kind of the Bijan Robinson light crew where it's like he's dynamic as a runner, but really where he's going to hurt you is catching the football. So let's make sure that our coverage responsibilities are locked in. We're communicating who's got who. We can't let him run free on some of these pick plays that we've seen the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're looking forward to see what the new look Washington defense is. They get a real test here against this Dolphins team here in Madrid as we send it back to you, Brian.
Shout out to the Booth Review crew. Remember, you can listen to them on game days on Big 100 or the iHeartRadio app. It's time for Winning Numbers, brought to you by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. Now, looking at these two offenses, the Dolphins offense averages a total of 107.2 rushing yards per game. Meanwhile, the Commanders are averaging 135.2 rushing yards per game, which is 7th in the NFL. Now, I have the pleasure of welcoming my Game Day Live crew of Brian Mitchell and Santana Moss to help me out with this next segment. It's time for your Top Tickets matchup presented by Sports Illustrated Tickets, an official fan experience partner of the Washington Commanders. Upgrade your game day at Northwest Stadium with the SI Fan Experience packages. That includes event access, authentic SI perks, and unforgettable moments. Get yours today at sitickets.com/commanders. Now, to help me with this top ticket matchup, I had to get my game day crew here, Santana Moss and Brian Mitchell. B, I'm going to start with you because we're looking at top matchups, and yours was Marcus Mariota versus the Dolphins defense.
Well, as you see what the Dolphins did last week, they went out there and Josh Allen still had a great day passing the ball, but they were able to get to him. They began to interrupt him a little bit in the backfield. Marcus is going to have to find a way because we've been seeing how he gets some pressure sometimes. He's got to find a way and ensure that he has that experience out there and also run the football. Like I said, Josh had over 300 yards passing, but the Buffalo Bills did not have over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Now, I think Marcus can help out in that situation. The RPOs and things of that nature where he can go out there and give those running backs a little opportunity because they're going to be worried about him. They're going to be worried about his legs. If Marcus goes out there and have a big game, all of a sudden you see Washington have more of the momentum going to their side.
And Tana, that leads into yours because Marcus Mariota can't get it done without his weapons. Yes, we're missing a lot of guys. A lot of guys are injured. However, we know it's a chance for guys to step up. So your matchup is our offensive playmakers versus their defense.
Yeah, offensive playmakers, and I'm putting the running backs and the receivers, including the tight ends, in this game plan, knowing that last week you saw what they was able to do. They gave up a lot of yards in the passing game. I believe if we can get that established, get that going, we can see more from our running backs. We're going to need to see our guys run the ball a lot of better, a whole lot better than we have been doing these past few weeks. So I believe the guys on the outside are going to play an integral role of having that success happen for our backfield.
And they got to hold on to the football.
That part.
Have to hold on to football and can't make mistakes.
They got 3 turnovers last week. 2 forced fumbles, they got both of them, and an interception. So we got to make sure we hold on to the football.
Fellas, what are y'all watching for in this matchup? Yes, there's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot of different layers. Tana, what are you looking for?
I think offensively, I want to see the rhythm of our offense. I think, we've been talking all week long about establishing a run game, getting some guys on the outside to make some plays in the passing game, but I'm all about the rhythm part of it. We can find that flow and that rhythm by just getting the ball out of our hands quick and just running what we run best. Logan talked about how great Mariota's been playing. I've been seeing that all year long as well. He done it last year too. He's a savvy veteran that can go out there and lead us to victory. But we have to make sure we're not shooting ourselves in the feet. Once we get going, we can't see ourselves going backwards. Once we get going forward, we have to complete those things and then punch it in. So I want to see the rhythm of our offense.
And B-Mitch, we spoke earlier about Dan Quinn taking over that defensive play calling. We did not get to hear from you about it yet. How do you feel he's going to fare against the Miami Dolphins?
I think Dan's going to call a great game. He's been doing it before. He's very experienced at it. But I want to see how the guys are going to respond to it. See, the whole thing about it, you get a different play call out there, and I heard Sean saying about they got to execute. If they don't go out and execute, then it doesn't make a difference who's calling it. So I want to see how the guys are going to respond, how they're going to play, what effort they're going to bring to this football game.
Yeah.
We've been on national TV a lot and hadn't fared very well. Now we're in an international game where we're the only show out there going to be happening early in the morning. We have to respond, and we need to show what we're made of. I think, we have a lot of guys injured, but the guys playing, they got something they can go out there and show.
This is the kind of game day live magic we are bringing to you Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on the Commanders' YouTube, Facebook, and X. Now, kickoff is set for 9:30 a.m. from Madrid. You can watch the game on NFL Network, or, of course, you can listen on Big 100 or our Spanish radio broadcast, El Zol. Now, the Commanders spent the week practicing out at Real Madrid practice facility, Ciudad Real Madrid. Now, quarterback Marcus Mariota, who's excited to get out in Spain, took some time to kick it with the Emmy-nominated Players Club.
Thinking about fun, we had the Real Madrid facility, man.
No doubt.
How fun is that? Like, what's your experience with soccer, man? Because this is pretty cool, right?
This is sick. And I grew up playing soccer. My brother he's here with us in Madrid, and he's like the biggest soccer fan. He's like, yo, you're going to Real Madrid? I was like, yeah, bro, we get to check it out.
Like I'm in the locker room with Mbappe, right?
So, no, this is cool. And then we talked about it too. Like, football provides an unbelievable experience, and it's really becoming like a global thing. And to be a part of that, to be the inaugural game here is a special opportunity.
That was your quarterback, Marcus Mariota, on the Players Club. You can catch the full interview on the Commanders' YouTube page. Now, Mariota and company are gearing up for a matchup with the Miami Dolphins out here in Madrid. So, fellas, let's dive more into this matchup. Now it's time for Securing the W, presented by Hercules Fence. Security in every job. Fellas, we talked about it a little bit to start the show. Marcus Mariota will be starting again for Jaden Daniels. Logan, you mentioned a little bit, elaborate a little more on what you want to see from Marcus Mariota and how we can get this win against Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and watched that Detroit game, Fletch, and he was playing really good football, man. Really anticipating throws, tight windows, understood what Detroit was doing. And again, he's a good football player, man. I know he's, a backup quarterback, but he could start for some teams in the NFL. And when you look at how Cliff has maximized his skill set, getting in these 13 personnels, utilizing play action, utilizing some of that zone read, this is a dangerous offense with him at the helm. Obviously, there's some playmakers on the perimeter that are banged up that we're looking forward to see, which makes it more challenging. But if Cliff's in his bag and Marcus plays like he did last week, we got a shot to win this football game.
And Tana, over and over again, we've talked about these injuries, especially in that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Guys keep getting banged up. Who do you want to see step up and be that big playmaker?
Well, I don't have one player in mind, but I was intrigued to see the receivers get in the ball game and get, have an effect on the game. I want to see somebody else step up out there. I think Chosen, whoever's the guy that's going to be calling up.
I want to see a bunch of tight ends.
Hey, I just said I ain't had nobody in mind, but I just want to see our passing game be effective, because I think if we get the passing game effective, then now we can count on those guys in the backfield to have, favorable lanes so they can be able to run the football.
And, man, with injuries, Sean, we just found out Trey Amos is on injured reserve as well. We already lost Marshawn Lattimore. How do we make up for that loss?
Well, it all starts with communication. If the next man up, whether Igmanagme or anybody else who's come up and play, Hamilton, I think would be as an option.
Hamilton, yep.
So it comes
Jonathan
Jones. I know he had a lower leg injury, but I'm not sure where he's at. But those guys who play, it's next man up. There's no excuse. Coach Quinn is going to be calling plays, and he's going to expect those guys to be able to execute on whatever he call, whether it's man or zone. They got to go out there, communicate, and play well.
Hey, London, we have seen our running game be one of our strong suits, but we struggled a little bit last game. And how do we get things going against a Miami defense who's really bad against the run?
Yeah, you know what? From a standpoint of the run game, I love the fact that we ran it 27 times last week. It's not all about gaining 4 or 5 yards per run. It's the volume of runs I think that's more important. The reason being, if I'm a defense and I know that you will run the football, now I have to respect it. Now I have to respect that play action pass. And you'll get linebackers coming up. You'll get safeties coming up to try to stop the run. And that's how you're able to get a shot down the field to a Jalen Lane or Deebo Samuel or some of those shots down the field. But you have to have a consistent and a concerted effort and a commitment to run the football.
And Logan, you mentioned the tight end, so let's run it back. Let's go to the tight ends right there because it has been consistent there. Like all the injuries we've had, at least we've had Zach Ertz. Now, we talk about those big games for Zach Ertz. This is a Zach Ertz type game, like Tana likes to say. Got to imagine he's going to be very, very important for the success of this offense.
Well, I think it's a tight end game because I guess there's nobody else, right? Who's going to play? Like Ben Sinnott, John Bates. John Bates had a nice catch last week, and then Zach's been very consistent. So, to me, that's the most dynamic playmaking group you have at the moment. Let's lean into that, right? Let's run the football like Fletch wants to do. Let's use that play action pass to create some space. We've talked about Ben Sinnott and his skill sets, right? Like it's off the play action pass, vertical, corners, crossing routes. I think we could see a big Ben Sinnott game here, too, in addition to what we always get from Zach.
Well, here's the thing, too, and we saw a little bit last week. When you come out and you have those 13 personnel, you got 3 tight ends in the ball game. Miami, from a defensive standpoint, they have to match that from a personnel standpoint. So they got big men on the big guys on the field. You'll have more linebackers in the game. But now you got opportunity to spread them out, go to a spread formation. Now you're going to get some matchups that you like. You might get an Ertz on a linebacker that you like. You may get Sinnott on a linebacker that you like, a matchup that you like. And those are some of the ways that you can get creative plays in the passing game just by personnel grouping.
And I think the 13 personnel also just simplifies defenses, right?
Yep.
Like, for example, last week against Detroit, they're a man team. All of a sudden in 13, they're playing zone. That helps us out. And versus Anthony Weaver defense, which is so complicated, simplicity is going to benefit us.
And, London, since I got you here, man, you is the big linebacker. They got a stud in Devin A-Chain out there at running back. Had a huge game. I think 2 touchdowns in the last game against the Bills. Can't take a guy like that out the game, but you can try to contain him, right?
Yeah, you definitely can, and the way you do that is you got to get penetration. You got to get disruptive plays. Your interior defensive line, you got to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. We can't play, sideways and letting him get going, letting him get to the second level. Being gap sound. If you're supposed to be in your gap, A gap, B gap, whatever it is, be in that gap. If you're supposed to contain and hold that edge, hold outside edge, stay outside. Don't allow those guys to get outside you, because with a guy like A-Chain, he can take it to the distance like he did against Buffalo last week.
And Logan, on the Get Loud podcast, you had mentioned that this offense likes to find defenses out of position. We talked about it earlier. Dan Quinn will be calling the defensive plays. How can he keep his guys from not being in the wrong position and find ways to find success?
So Fletch and Springs will probably speak better to this than I can, but what I would say is that, like, to me, it's about being where you're supposed to be, assignment sound football. And if they can do that, and that starts on Tuesday this week, that's not in the game necessarily.
Yes, a lot of exciting things. We're out here in Madrid to take on the Miami Dolphins. Thanks, fellas. And since we are out here in Madrid, some members of the Command Center crew had the chance to explore the city. They even stopped by a can't-miss destination. Check it out. This is your can't miss moment presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders.
All right, boys, we're out here at the San Ginés Chocolateria. It's over 130 years old. It's one of the kind of must-go-to spots in Spain. We're taking in some culture, Fletch, right? Kind of experiencing the thing. So we got churros and
Porras.
Yeah, he's got that little French in him. It comes out really nice. So apparently 50% of Spain likes this. 50% of Spain likes this, and so we're going to decide which one we like, and then kind of settle the debate. Fletch, what do you think?
I like that, man. Let's go and dive into this, man. Just
grab a churro.
One and,
this is churro. They don't usually use sugar with theirs. They dip it in chocolate. That's how they do it. That was really nice, actually.
Is there a dipping room? Like, can't double dip?
Yeah, don't double dip.
Well, that's fresh. That's good.
I like it. I can't wait to try that one.
You want the
Porras.
Porras, yeah.
Okay.
Tan, how you like it?
Good. It was real good.
Real good?
Yeah. It reminds me of beignets.
I'd say like a donut kind of texture.
Yeah, more.
for me, this one right here. This is the churro. Churro. This is it. This is the one for me. What about you?
Hey, you gotta love the texture of the pearl, man.
The texture is crazy. Thank you guys. Thanks, San Ginés, so much for this wonderful display. I think it's the.
I like the porous.
Yeah, I think the porous for me too.
So, Tana, which one did you like? Yeah, you and I.
So I think it's 3-2. I think we've settled the debate. Thanks again for showing us a little side of Spain here.
You can catch the full crew tomorrow for our Command Center from Madrid special presented by Sports Illustrated Tickets. Commanders fans, if you are in Madrid, we will be out at the Irish Rover in Madrid starting at noon. If you're watching from back home, be sure to tune into Commanders YouTube page, Facebook, or X. Commanders fan, we've had a fun show out here in Spain. And one thing we like to do when we back in the studio is do something called a Tana takeover. Well, this time it's Tana takes over trivia. We got two teams right here. We got Big Fletch and Brian Mitchell, the Hall of Fame team there.
Let's go.
Then we got Sean Springs and Logan Paulson, the Grinders. We got the teams right here now. Tana's going to read out some questions, and y'all are going to answer them. And whoever's right, I'm going to keep track. I'm out of this one. It's just y'all right here, all right? Tana, you ready?
I'm ready, buddy. Let's go. You ready?
Yeah,
all right. Well, since I knew all these questions already,
Knew
they
all
picked
that.
me to ask y'all. So for the first one, what are the colors of the Spanish flag?
Green,
red,
green,
red,
yellow. We got
red, yellow, and red and yellow.
Yellow.
Burgundy, red, and yellow.
That's burgundy, red, and yellow.
Give me your answer first. Y'all
we
pick-
answered
Burgundy,
already.
red, and yellow.
Slow down,
Red, red,
Bluefoot.
yellow.
You gonna get your chance.
It's right there.
Red and yellow.
Red and yellow. Okay, we got a tie with that since they.
Hold on, we went first.
Just answered that question, man.
Y'all both getting axed so at the same time. Y'all both knew then. I'm gonna say that's a tie. So that's 1-1. Second, who did the Washington franchise play in their last international game?
Cincinnati. Bengals.
That's right.
Yep.
That's 2-1.
Yeah, baby.
Come on.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
All right. Next question. What was the score of that game?
27-27.
Lord
Tie.
have mercy.
It was a tie.
Man, he must
Yeah.
just
Hey,
just
man, I
studied
studied
that.
football,
Nah,
man.
he just did that one
Football.
game.
That's another
studied
point for
football.
Fletch.
Ask me who I was. I said London.
That's another
I want the
point
guy
for
that I
Fletch
don't
and B.
study
Mitch.
stuff and keeps it.
That boy ain't go to
Nah, I mean,
class.
We don't really need this one, but I'm gonna say it anyway just to give y'all some.
It's a
give
penalty
y'all
kick.
a
Y'all
chance.
already lost.
It's a tiebreaker without being. It's not
Okay.
a tie,
Okay.
but I'm gonna give y'all a tie.
This a landslide. We
What is the
PTA.
Okay, what is the currency used over here?
the Euro.
Euro.
The Euro.
He said it too.
Hey,
Hey, well that goes to Fletch and
PTA.
Mitch, everybody.
PTA.
There you go. Gotta love a little bit of competition out here in Spain. Remember, we'll be back here pre-game.
Y'all dudes kinda
on
slow off the
AJ
sore
Live.
losers.
It's also post-game.
Always walking
Post-game
off
live.
when
I'm
you
here with
lose.
some great guys. Sean that got out the picture. I'm your host, Brian Coach.
you
You're here
really
with
wanna be a
Santana
part of
Moss,
this.
London Fletcher, Brian Mitchell, and Logan Paulson. And Sean Springs, who left his teammate Logan Paulson to drive. Command Center is presented by Sports Illustrated Tickets, an official fan experience partner of the Washington Commanders. Upgrade your game day at Northwest Stadium with the SI Fan Experience package of access, authentic SI perks, and unforgettable moments. Get yours today at sitickets.com/commanders.